you're saying was true, and it was mind blowing, and it was really cool and really nice to see. So definitely thank you on that.
Yeah. East Loss Audit said, your police academy has failed you. They don't teach you how to respect the public. I don't really know that it's a police academy's job to teach people how to respect each other. I think
Right.
that's a mom and dad issue. If you're not respecting people out in the public, that's a you. Looks like we got Matty on. Matt just joined. Where's he at? He's trying to get his shit going. When you can, Alan, can you jump Matt in? There we go. Maybe. I know he's trying to connect. But yeah, I would say to that person that put that. There he is. Look at this. Straight out of prison. Matt Thornton. What's up, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, tap your mic and make sure you're on your right. We gotta. Nope.
Every time.
Yeah, you sound like you're in an echo chamber. A cop in an echo chamber? What are the odds?
How about now?
There we go. Hey, sounding crispy.
What's up, David? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good to finally actually talk to you. Good.
Hell yeah. See, I told you guys. 2 cops, 1 donut. Bridging gaps.
Man, I gotta say, let me lead off, man. Like I remember you're the second auditor I ever saw. First one I ever saw was fascinating was Phil Hernandez from was that High Desert?
Yeah.
And then you were the second. I just became obsessed. There's probably about 2017, 18, right around in there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and ever since the common sense that this man has and how he does it now, it's actually really, really cool, man. I appreciate enjoy your stuff.
Well, one of the things you missed him saying earlier, Matt, was that he owned up and said when he first started out, he didn't start out the right way in the way that he probably wanted for what his true personality is. And being able to step back and recognize that and switch up your approach for what your mission is. I think that was because you do get caught up, and I've done it before too, where I'll make a video or something like that, and I'm like, oh, this will get a lot of people to watch, and I'm like, that's the wrong mindset. I need to go, what's my mission? Oh, it's education based. Okay, cool. Let me change this video back up, because you get caught up where you're trying to like, all right, let me get some more viewers on this to get more attention to what we're trying to do. Screw it. Just stick to the mission. If you stick to the mission, they'll come.
You know what you do, like, that's so good, brother, is your summaries. It's so matter of fact, and so I don't know. Do you write those out ahead of time? I've been actually wanting to see how do you do that?
I do write a lot. Sometimes it just comes off the top. Like when I'm actually watching a video, I just pause it, narrate into it. I'm thinking as I watch sometimes. But if I really want to work on a video and I really want it to like pop, I'll write my stuff into it, and I'll just talk about certain things. Like there's like along the way, I think I figured out certain types of things to say that'll make people really think. And I call those like little diamonds or gems, things that it takes a lot of pressure to actually find these, you know what I mean? And to create these. And one of the things that I say is like, what kind of American would I be if I needed permission to be free? Things like that. Or for instance, freedom should be the topic on every dinner table in America every single night. Like that kind of stuff is true. Like these are things that we're not talking about at the dinner table. We're not truly understanding what our rights are. The people don't seem to know it. I didn't know what the First Amendment was. My friends and family didn't know it. I didn't learn it from my mom. I didn't learn it from school. And even if I did, it just didn't resonate because it wasn't something that I felt like I needed to implement or apply at the right time. I just thought, oh, cops are going to respect my rights. They're going to know what my rights are. They're not going to violate my rights. But there's a lot of things that we don't understand. A lot of times, whether it's under coercion or whether cops are trained to, give up your certain rights or just, comply or something like that, so I think it's taken a lot of time for me to actually truly find a way to approach this. And I got to say, man, I've actually talked to, cops that are on the force. There's a woman who I actually kind of cussed out when I first started, and she ended up working with me later on. She wrote a book about her department and how crooked it was after she left.
Oh, wow.
So I've worked with a lot of current law enforcement officers or police officers that are retired. There was this one retired officer who wrote a book, and I helped him promote it and stuff. And he actually wrote the first book on First Amendment auditors. And yeah, man, it's been a journey. It's been an educational journey for myself. We did a record breaking audit at the LAPD training facility at Elysian Park behind Dodger Stadium. And I know I seen East Los Audits. He was on here. He's the one that made that comment earlier. But he was there with me. Rest in peace, Jay from J Serial Camera was there with me. My son, a couple of my sons were out there with me. I have 3 sons that actually have channels as well that go out and record sometimes with me and stuff as well. So
nice.
We did a record-breaking audit. This was a long time ago, and probably the most cops ever called. They lined up like if we were, protesting or rioting or something. And there was the chopper came out, and it was crazy, man. And but a supervisor came out, and he was like, "No, man, you guys are okay. You guys are good. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna talk to all of them, and I'm just gonna have them leave." And he did invite me to go speak at the LAPD training facility, maybe teach a class or something. But I don't think I was ready then. I've progressed along the way throughout the years, and since then I've spoken at a university. I've also been invited to like David Nino Rodriguez's podcast, and his whole support base is Back to Blue, and I was like, damn, like I'm gonna get killed over there. The first thing he opened up with, we back to Blue, I back to Blue, but I respect your work, and we ended up having an amazing, positive podcast. A lot of people in the chat were saying, bring this guy back on. He knows exactly what he's talking about. This is what this country needs right here. And, there's a lot of folks in your chat right now. I'll give some folks a quick shout out if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Joe Cool, Power, Inheritor of the People. Girl with the Camera, East Los Artists, The Angry Vet, and Made in America, The Ripple Effect, Every Camera Counts. We got a call as a personal friend of mine, Wrights Crispy, personal friend of mine. He's taking me to Florida and Pennsylvania. I've traveled with them to Colorado and stuff like that. And also the Pop Brothers at Law. They want to say thank you, Matt, for all your work. They love your work.
I love them dudes too. Yep.
They're tuned in right now. They're waiting for you to do a STFU thing with them. So,
they asked you to do that.
Yeah, so they're I have a really strong support base as well, and like I say, I think by you guys kind of building a community as well of actual current law enforcement officers or people that are in law enforcement or have been in law enforcement, that's amazing, because a lot of us do this for the right reasons. We have good intentions. We need to learn our rights. That's obviously, I think, something that we can all agree on. Everybody needs to know what their rights are, right?
I think you hit the nail on the head on family and teaching and talking about that every day. But here's where so for all my cops listening, this is one thing that I do. I was never taught this, but if I have an opportunity to explain to somebody their rights while I'm out there, I do it. Like somebody that I literally caught somebody that's looking at an auditor down the street, because in my area where I'm at, you won't hear me say where I work on here. I can't do that. But where I work, auditors are pretty heavy. And somebody was pointing out an auditor. And I took that opportunity because they were pissed off about it. It's Texas. And I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. Imagine being a part of a government or this country that's so free that we can hold our government accountable in such an amazing way without fear of retribution, or retaliation. And I was like, that is a First Amendment right. They're allowed to do that. And they're like, they're allowed to do that. They can film right inside that business. I'm like, they're on a sidewalk. It's a public area. Anywhere from the public, your eyes can see, that camera can see, you can do that. I didn't treat them like an asshole. I'm like, you moron, you don't know your rights, or you know what, you're right. Yeah, that's bullshit. They shouldn't be doing that. I took it as an opportunity to educate. So just as you're saying that we should be talking about freedom all the time, I'm with you, brother. And something that we can do as police, because this is what the whole point of my show is, or our show, my bad, Matt and Banning, the whole point of our show is spreading that message and teaching people. It isn't to make you look bad. It's to educate. Now, sometimes you will look bad because of what you chose to do, but in your bad moment, you are going to teach a lot more cops, a lot more citizens about what their rights are or how to handle something better. So that's kind of the premise behind it. So I really like that you had that. that thought, that philosophy. But something we got some questions that we've all probably, I know Matt's probably got some questions for you too. Banning, my first question that I really want to know from you, brothers, you've been doing this since when? Since 2018, was that?
2017.
2017. Okay, so from
September.
2017 to now, have you seen a change in policing and how they handle auditors? Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? Has there been no effect?
That's a great question. Obviously, when I started, I felt like we were going to build such a big community um, that it's going to be nationwide and everybody's going to know their rights, and we're going to create that nationwide change that needs to be done. I don't know if we have really yet. I will say this though, locally, there are a lot of police officers that would see me arrive on scene, and immediately it was like bump heads. I'm going to arrest you, this and that, and so some of the same cops that I bumped heads with before actually see me now, and they're like, "Hey, David, how you been, man?" Shake my hand, and we have a pretty good, interaction. A lot of these cops that have been around me for a while that I go out and record, they don't try to bully me anymore. They don't try to tell me I can't record and stuff like that. They kind of go out of their way to just kind of say hi and stuff like that. And I think maybe a lot of them have maybe seen that I do have good intentions along the way, and they know they're not going to win against not me because I'm only one of the people. They're not going to win against the Constitution. They're not going to win against the First Amendment, and it's just a losing battle. We try to go against it, and it's a losing battle. And but yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've seen it on a grand scale, other than there are a lot of channels. I mean, look at what you guys are doing now. That's change. That's amazing. Look at what a lot of people are doing now, and that's kind of, I believe it's a great path. Leaving politics out of this of what we do. I think this community allows anybody to kind of get involved. Man, woman, red, blue, left, right, straight, gay, black, white. It doesn't matter. Everybody can be involved because it's something that pretty much kind of brings everybody in. And I've never really seen anything before where people are really trying to learn their rights, from anywhere. And this is going on from sea to shining sea, everywhere in between. Now we have channels and support in the UK, Australia, Canada, and other places as well. This whole topic of freedom is just a beautiful thing, man. I think, like I said, we can all agree that we all need to know our rights and have freedom, especially in this country, right?
Yep, so. I agree. I think that the youth these days, they've had it so easy, so cake, that they don't give a shit about their freedom until that shit's about to be taken away. And it takes, I hate to say, God, the gray in my beard's going to be showing here, but us older people, we gotta get it through to them before it's too late, because they'll start to lose it. Now, one of the things that we really like about what this live stream brings, and what would you like me to call me? Do you want me to call you San Joaquin? Do you want me to call you David? What do you want me to call you?
David's fine. San Joaquin's fine. David, okay. Everybody calls me both. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to be rude, but one of the things that I love is people get to ask you questions from the audience, and we love giving them the chance to do that. So, Twitchy Skitch said, San Joaquin, do you feel that the local scanner chasers are having a positive or negative impact on BPD behavior and the public perception of policing in Bakersfield?
That's a great question. I actually bumped heads with some of those guys when they first started, because I was obviously doing what I do. I think some of them had the wrong idea about me. They would have kind of cussed me out and say bad things about me on their live streams and stuff like that. There was one guy, TW Lives, local guy, who just didn't like me, and they were kind of making threats that they're gonna, knock me out when they see me and stuff like that. So one day I seen him. I ended up fighting one of those guys, man, on the streets. What? And he's a bigger dude, man. I was like, let's get it. Bam, bam, bam. Cops are right there. They didn't do nothing about it. Nobody pressed charges. But I will say that even Travis West, TW Lives, even the streamers, a lot of them have reached out to me, and now they look at me in a different way. They're like, you were right, man. These cops actually try to violate our rights when we're out there. And so these guys were always like, thank you, officer. Thank you for what you do. Every chance they got. And I'm just like, all right, that's fine. But they already get paid. They already, they get paid to do a job. you know, I'm not. If they do a good job, they don't violate my rights. I'll be like, hey man, you guys have a good day. You know, see you guys next time. Whatever. They do the same with me. The cops, they give me fist bumps and everything. So, but you know, these guys that were the streamer channels, I think I guess the question was, are they making an impact locally? I think so, but even them, man, even though those guys are, you know, police supporters, back to blue, those guys have had their rights violated by these cops as well. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
what does that tell you? You know, they kind of changed their mindset about me as well. And more than half of them, there's probably like 10 streamers out here. More than half of them have reached out to me, and you know, they say, hey, we got no beef with you anymore, and this and that, and you were right. You know, you're right about how you approach this, and you know what you say and your stuff. And so yeah, man, I mean,
all right, Bannon, I'm gonna open the floor to you, brother. I don't want I try to get everybody their piece of the pie, you know what I mean?
My whole thing is just a couple of statements. First of all, thank you very much for coming on to our show. Just like Eric and Matt said, it's our pleasure for you to join us. I believe this truly brings more of the community together. I was a cop for 21 years, and I wake up every day with an inbox full. I'm a LinkedIn guy. I can't even log into my Facebook anymore, so I rely on LinkedIn. And I'm connected to cops, and it's a melting pot. I'm connected to about every profession you can think about. But why are we, this is more of a statement again, it's not a question. Why are we sitting in 2025? And I'm sorry, but why are these videos still existing? Why is not the training coming across? Here we are in 2025. I just retired a year ago. Why am I still seeing the videos? And it's such a tarnish on a career that I love and respect and I push for every single day because I know the good ones out there. I see so much good. And then when I see the things that you've gone through Sean Paul Reyes and all the guys that we've met in our journey of doing this, of what y'all have had to endure, it angers my blood, and I know it angers Eric, and we all know it angers Matt, and that's why he's got such a big voice on it. I'm working on it. I'm learning edits and stuff, but
we're just learning.
Yep.
Me and Banning, we're rookies in this whole auditor world. It just we've been calling it out for the last 3-4 years.
Yep.
But I didn't know, like, because here's the problem. And just like with your video, the video that I got of you wasn't from you. Somebody else has shared it. And that's where I got it from. So I never know who the actual person is. And I don't, but somebody hears your voice in our audience and they're like, oh, that's such and such. Matt did it for this one. Matt literally sent me a message and he's like, you know, that's San Joaquin. Like, give him credit. I goes, I don't know who the fuck that is, dude. So I'm, you know, Matt's, you know, he's our sensei on some of this stuff. So he's like, oh, that's the such and such. I'm like, oh, okay. So I check out your page. You had reached out on Instagram, so I saw that, and everything fell together. But like, kind of what Banning's saying, like, we're 2025, we get angry.
I was fighting mad when I seen you get put in them handcuffs, man. That was so ridiculous, so embarrassing, so disgusting. I can't even describe it. I want to break. I want to put my foot through my computer watching that.
Yeah. It's very frustrating when, especially me, these guys will tell you, I'm the optimistic guy. I'm the dumbass that has rose-colored glasses, no matter what it is. I'm always trying to see the good side of things, or like, I think I can make it better. Maybe that's my fatal flaw, but I truly believe I can. I see a video like yours. I'm like, all right, we can make this better. Let me get a hold of this guy. Let's get him on. And I may not be able to fix the problem. I'm totally aware I'm not going to fix the problem. But if we get one cop to see what we're talking about and go, oh, fuck, I didn't think about it like that. Bang. We made a difference to somebody that cop impacts later on down the line. It's not going to get everybody. And I get that. But like a lot of your people on here, you know, they don't know us. You know, I don't expect them to know us. They probably know Matt. Everybody knows Matt. That's why we love Matt. But you know, it does us no good if Matt's the only one putting the fight up. Yep. Now we got about 5 of us putting the fight out. So and we're gaining more and more ground. I had a lot of cops that have reached out and have been like, all right, I kind of thought you were doing it this way, just like with you all. They all think you're out, they call you frauditors and that you're out there just to get the clicks and the likes. I'm like, no, there's some people out there that just truly believe in freedom and in their constitutional rights. And how else are you going to know that? Again, this is what I say. This is a beautiful country when citizens can take it upon themselves to do checks and balances.
Right. And, it's like I was saying, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's so wonderful to see a kind of a community growing out of this, what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I know Matt has been leading the way on this as well. It's kind of badass. We need you guys as well. This country needs you guys as well. And it takes kind of everybody trying to understand what is right. The difference between right and wrong, and just having checks and balances, and just us knowing what our rights are. Because I had a judge once tell me, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any rights.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of important. And a lot of us don't know our rights. So what does that mean? If we don't know our rights, we just don't have any rights. We're going out there in this world without even knowing what our rights are. And I say it in my channel, like, parents shouldn't be letting their kids go to Starbucks, the football, baseball games, the theaters, all these places without them knowing what their rights are. Almost putting them in a dangerous position. I've also learned as well that police officers teach their kids not to talk to cops. I mean, what does that tell you? I've had plenty cops that I speak to, that don't have channels, that are either current cops or retired. And they give me a lot of tips and a lot of things, their training and stuff like that. Shout out to Abaya Israel from We the People University, former cop, and just an amazing man, and I've spoken to him a lot. He wrote a book and I read it, and like one day it was that powerful, that book was. And through my work, through my channel, 7 different police chiefs have been forced out of their position, a mayor, a city attorney. The most recent one was from Arvin, California, and this guy was a bad dude. He had been fired, arrested, charged, and convicted for stealing $17,000 from a Palos Verdes Estates Police Department here in California. He becomes a reserve officer in Maricopa, California, and they're impounding everybody's cars, and they're getting a kickback from the tow truck company. A federal grand jury report comes out, and the grand jury report comes out and ends up disbanding that small department. Well, he wipes his hands clean and he comes to Arvin, California, which is a nearby town, and he kind of weasels his way up to the top. When he was fired, his name was Alex Gazarian, but all of a sudden he becomes chief of police in Arvin, and he's using Alex Gazalpur. Well, he was trying to sweep his record under the rug, and this guy was like a bowling ball. There was a lot of public officials that were not really aligning themselves with what he was doing there. And so a lot of them ended up getting fired. And so a lot of them were reaching out to me as well. They started telling me, you gotta do some research on this guy, go ask him some questions. And so I did. I went out there and I was like, you mind if I get your name and badge number? He's like, Alex Gazalpur, I'm the chief of Arvin. And I was like, well, I have some reports that you used to be Alex Gazarian. Is it true that you used to use a different name? He says, well, my name has always been Alex Gazarian Gazalpur. So then I began to make videos and let the people of Arvin know who he was. One of the different things that we do, apart from mainstream media, when they tell news stories and stuff like that, they don't really put where to make your complaints or where to redress your grievances, right? Which is in the First Amendment.
Right.
We put email addresses, we put Facebook links, we put phone numbers. And so the people know where to call. And our videos go viral sometimes. So they'll get call after call after call.
Oh,
and it's like
smart.
the pressure is on them. So I kind of learned how to use the court of public opinion early on. And that's why I think we were able to get rid of 7 different police chiefs that were bad, including Alex. Arvin, California is some of the best work and the proudest work that I've ever done, only because we were able to present these videos and what they were doing. Got rid of the city attorney over there, a couple other public officials, got rid of the chief of police. Now it seems like things are falling into place. The mayor seems like a really good person. She does community work. They go out and they pick up trash together. They're keeping the city clean. And it's just kind of amazing to see what. And let me just say this: I could not have done it myself in Arvin. And I think that's a massive lesson to be learned. I could not have done it myself. maybe some of the public officials that were in there could not have done it themselves without me or without the community. The community couldn't have done it themselves. It almost took like a collaborative effort of, you know, myself, them, the private investigator who had saved all of this information because they were trying to scrub Alex's record and sweep it under the rug, and they kept all of that. So it seemed like it took a lot of people to actually come together, go to the city council meetings, put the pressure on, make these videos, have them call, and to actually create the change that we got to see in Arvin. So maybe we're not making a change on a grand scale like the entire country is changing right now. Maybe not yet. Maybe we don't see it yet. But I was able to help create some change here locally, and it's totally mind blowing. Like I said, there's a massive lesson to be learned. And I also want to give a shout out to a local Instagram page called Kern County Activities. Now check this out. You guys might like this. I believe every community needs a Kern County Activities page. What do? They don't go out and record like I do, but they sure do share a lot of my stuff that I put out. But they also share everything that's going on in the community. If there's a car accident, fatal or not, everybody in the community will start sending them photos. There's a traffic stop over here. There's a border patrol is pulling people over here, conducting traffic stops. There's all kinds of stuff that they put. Everybody just sends them everything, whether it's fights or bar fights, and they've got a sense of humor as well, man. They're really funny. So if you really think about it, all the law enforcement agencies in town follow them. We got the California Highway Patrol.
What are they called again?
Kern County Activities on Instagram. I'll send you the link later. So they have Bakersfield Police Department. They have all the news agencies follow them. So what does that tell you? A lot of people, myself included, the police department and all the news agencies, they get a lot of their news from this they're actually kind of big, from this Instagram account. And it's because everybody's just taking pictures around the county and just sending them everything. And so they're constantly posting. I think they got like 3 or 4 people working on them 24 hours a day so that they can continue to post nonstop. And they got merch and everything. And those guys always give me a shout out. And it's kind of important because you know what's happening in your town and almost in real time, which is insane. And that's how I was able to go out and cover news stories and do a lot of stuff like that recently. Instagram will connect you locally with a lot of local people, while YouTube will kind of spread you out everywhere, you know?
Yeah. I want to address one thing that was said in the comments. They said that us on the panel look bored with your story. No, this is just my face. I'm sorry. I don't know how to I can't be bored with what this man's saying. 2, I run everything. So while he's talking, I'm pulling things up and doing that. The only 2 that get to sit there and look pretty are the bald guy and the bearded guy, the big ginger bearded guy. So I apologize if I look bored, but sir, I promise you I am being very attentive.
That's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this if that was the case. But I want to address what you just talked about, looking up stuff in real time. Please don't let me forget that. Alan in the background, don't let me forget that. But I want, is that it? Kern County Activities?
Let me see. How many followers do they got? That might not be them.
It looks like 12.
Yeah, that's not them. Okay. That might be their backup account, but okay. I will send you their link later on. And
Holy
I think
shit. All right, let me hold on real quick. Nobody ever really does this many memberships. I just want to give a shout out to the Angry Vet. He just gifted 50 memberships. Holy shit, brother. Thank you very much. Listen, if you guys, I've seen a bunch of donations going to Matt's page. I've seen donations going to my page. If San Joaquin had put his page on here, I'm sure he'd be getting the same thing. But thank you, everybody. The money that you are putting towards the show goes directly into the show. It doesn't go in anybody's pockets. We're not out here driving Corvettes, I promise you. I got a 2019 truck that I'm about to have paid off in December. I'm super excited. So it's the first vehicle I've ever paid off. But your money's not going towards that. It's for the YouTube premium, so you don't have to watch ads and shit when we share videos and all that good stuff. So thank you very much. But the point that I was getting to is before the Angry Vet bestowed upon us that gift. Thank you, sir. is I want to show your video, what got us going, because I want to hear that story as well. So I'm going to share this. Angry Vet also said, because the troll hate when I spend money on other people's channels. That is, you know what? I like a spiteful man sometimes. That's awesome. Stick it to him, Angry Vet. Angry Vet, just so you know, I am currently still in the military. I'm in the, well, I'll give air quotes so Banning doesn't freak out. I'm Air Force, so I'm quasi-military. He was in the real military. I am still in. I'm a military cop. I'm an Air Force cop, and I'm a municipal cop. That's where two cops, one donut comes from. When I first started by myself, I am the two cops. So that's where the name came from. Not two girls, one cup, despite the rumors.
I remember that guy that was obsessed with that for so long.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. The thing was, one of my favorite podcasts was Two Bears, One Cave with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. And I really liked their podcast. So I just kind of made my name off of theirs. So anyway, let's get to this video. And Bearded Tim just received oh, look at that. Our mod got an account. Nice. Let me make that go away. There you go. And let's play.
The subject's now out here filming me. First off, you can turn off your camera. It's against the law for you to film an officer. Okay?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
What's the First
I'm not
Amendment?
going to discuss it with
freedom
you.
of press,
You need to get
freedom
into
of
your
religion,
car.
freedom of assembly,
Okay,
freedom
you have
to
no right
petition.
to follow me, and it's against the law.
You're driving recklessly.
You can call
You're driving
my
recklessly.
chief, and you can call the police department, and you can file a complaint. You're more than you know right to
That's
do
why I
that.
need your name and badge number,
It's right
so I
here.
can file the
It's
complaint.
right here, and that's my card number. Take it and leave, or I'm
don't have to leave.
going to
I'll
arrest
wait
you.
for your backup.
I'm telling you right now, it's against the law for you to be filming an officer. It's in the penal code. So if you want to discuss
It's
it, we
against the
can.
I'm going to stop it right there for now because I know Matt's going to lose his shit. Matt, you haven't said a whole lot now, buddy. I'm going to let you have your time to shine.
It's just so preposterous to me. Like only way I can equate it is if a professional football player went to his coach and said, how many innings are in this football game? It makes no sense whatsoever at any time. Filming the police is against the law. Like that's just, I didn't even know. I didn't think. I was waiting for a cameras to come out that this was a practical joke or something.
Right. Yeah, and I think that was when I saw that part right away, I was like, "What in the actual fuck?" And I look, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm looking at the video, and Matt, maybe you were doing the same thing. I'm like, "What year was this video made?" That's what I was trying to figure out. What year was this video made? And I'm trying to see. This must be an old video. And when I start trying to do research, I can't find shit on it. I'm like, "Oh no!" When you can't find anything, that means it's pretty new.
Somebody said it to me. I just recognized Dave's voice right away. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. See, yeah. Again, that's the advantage you have. Me and Banning being rookies over here, we're trying to figure that stuff out. So,
unreal.
So I wanna play until I start to commentate, and then we'll cut it. But then I want you to tell the story, if that's cool with you, if you can.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, let's keep playing.
And I'll take you and I'll book you.
Out here.
I don't need to.
Call supervisor.
Okay, you need to leave because you have no right to follow me.
Let me get your badge number.
I just told you what it is, and there's my car number. Here's my name. You got it on camera.
Calvillo?
So go ahead and get in your car and leave.
Is there any reason why you're speeding down the road?
I just told you.
Because you're speeding.
Stop filming me, or like I said, I'm gonna place you in handcuffs and place you under arrest, and everything you do after that in front of your daughter is gonna be on you. So it's your choice.
Why are you shaking like that? Are you on drugs? Is that why you're driving recklessly the way you are?
Holy shitballs! It's 2025 and we're still dealing with.
All right, let me stop sharing. And there we go. Make sure.
So
all right. Tell the story, brother.
I have the full clip on my Instagram. I don't know if you want to pull that up because.
Oh, do you?
Okay. Yeah, and it actually shows from when I actually walk up, and try to get his name and badge number up until the rest. Because I actually cut a lot of that out. I tried to turn it into a quick video, but it's maybe like 1 or 2 minutes long. And then my daughter's actually recording from the car. And she actually records him after he puts me in cuffs and walks me to the car. And after I'm in cuffs, he lifts my right arm as high up as possible. And then I told him, dude, stop hurting. You're hurting me. Stop. And he's like, I don't care. And he puts me in the car with my arm up like that. He even grabs my elbow and he puts me in the car like that. And
okay, I think I got it. Let me. You tell me if this is the right one, sir. Is that right? I can go back.
It's gonna be that one right there.
The very first one?
No, the one next to that, right there. It's gonna be that one.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So I do talk. I kind of introduce it, but you can maybe fast forward it to where the actual incident starts.
I don't have the ability to fast forward on
okay.
the
Do
incident.
you recognize this high school district officer right here? And parents, if you have a student in the current high school district, this video is for you. And if you're a student in the current high school district where there's police on campus, this video is for you as well. And make sure you share this far and wide all over the campuses. So if you recognize this officer, please let us know. If you have any stories that involve him, we want to know about it. His last name is Calvillo. He does have a twin brother, so make sure if you have a story regarding this guy, make sure it's the right one. This guy recently illegally arrested me, stuffed me in the back of the cruiser, only to be let go by the supervisors because I did nothing illegal. Sometimes I put myself on the line to keep the public safe from bad cops, but this time it was an actual school police officer. Everything that happened is explained in this video. Make sure you guys follow our YouTube channel, San Joaquin Valley Transparency, where we post local cops getting educated by yours truly. Let's go ahead and get right to it, folks.
First off, you can turn off your camera. It's against the law for you to film an officer.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You can call the police department and you can file a complaint. You're more than in the right to do
That's
that.
why I need your name and badge
No,
number,
it's right
so I
here.
can file the complaint.
It's right here, and that's my card number. Take it and leave, or I'm
don't have to leave.
gonna
I'll
arrest
wait
you.
for your backup to
No,
come.
you don't need to. I don't need no backup. I'm telling you right now, it's against the law for you to be filming an officer. It's in the penal code. So if you want to discuss
It's
it, we
against the law
can.
to film an officer?
And I'll take you and
Call
I'll
the
book
supervisor
you.
out here.
I don't need to.
Call the supervisor out here.
Okay,
because you're
so
speeding.
stop filming me, or like I said, I'm gonna place you in handcuffs and place you under arrest. So it's your choice.
Why are you shaking like that? Are
I'm
you
not
on
shaking.
drugs? Is that
I'm
why
not
you're
shaking.
driving recklessly the way you are? All right, folks, as promised, here's the San Joaquin arrest video. And I do have an update at the end, so stick around. I think you're going to be happy. It all started when this high school district police officer, Calvillo, decided the road was his own personal speedway. This dude thought he was Dom Toretto in Fast and the Furious. Let me rewind to a day before where a different cop scared the ever-living shit out of my daughter, who's a student driver, trying to get some experience at the Valley Plaza Mall parking lot in Bakersfield, California. I have a short video on my channel of me complaining to a supervisor about it. She was really nice, but I don't have video proof of that one, so I'm not sure what she or anybody can do on a personal level as far as complaints go. But at least the department is on notice. So the very next day, I pick up my daughter from school. This time I'm driving down Golden State Avenue, and Officer Calvillo, aka Lightning McQueen, speeds by like a bat out of hell. So I begin to follow him, trying to keep up. He makes a couple turns without signaling, and also stops the car at a light across the line. Now, these are all traffic infractions that pull a lot of money out of our wallets, purses, and bank accounts when we get caught. They say that in order to keep the people on the road safe, they have to ticket us. When police speed through our streets without lights and sirens, they're not just breaking policy, they're gambling with our lives and theirs. In the last decade alone, multiple people in Bakersfield have been killed in collisions involving police vehicles that were either responding without warning signals or driving at high speeds. Victims like Brandon Flores, Mario Lares, Ignacio Hernandez, Cristo Reynaga, and Edgar Rodriguez never had a chance to react because there was no visual or audio warning that a patrol car was approaching at dangerous speeds. This isn't about blaming every single officer, but about recognizing a pattern. When emergency lights and sirens aren't used the way they're supposed to be, civilians pay the price. These tragedies prove what should be obvious. Speed becomes deadly when the public isn't alerted, and failing to activate lights and sirens turns a routine response into a fatal surprise. It's not just unsafe, it's unacceptable. Now, Dom Toretto Calvillo was just in a hurry to eat some Taco Bell or some shit. We don't know. I'm guessing he was on his lunch. That was his emergency. And maybe I wouldn't be so disappointed or upset if my daughter hadn't been cut off by two cops the day before, leaving her with an accelerated heartbeat and a fear that a cop could have crashed into her. She hasn't really wanted to drive much since. So Calvillo turns into a residential area and parks his cruiser. Excuse me, our cruiser. Those cars belong to the taxpayers. He immediately gets agitated and angry, and the threats begin. This is where the video starts. Check this out. I'll see you at the end of the video with an update to what's happening right now.
Oh, I'm going to pause this real quick, and we'll address this. Let me switch over here. Do any of you actually take anything Sanjay says seriously? It's like watching a fish out of water. Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
If what he had to say was factually incorrect, not reasonable, and illogical, then I would call him out and say, what you're saying doesn't make sense. It's not the law and all of that. But he doesn't say that. So I don't know what point you're trying to make, Brian Chubb, but yes, I do take what he has to say seriously because it's factually correct, it's logical, and it makes sense. So yeah, I do. Anyway, back to the video.
Thank you. Five 224.
Turn your camera off, or I'm not going to talk.
No. Let me get your name and badge number. Let me get your name. Yes, I can. Let me get your name and badge number. I already got your car. I already got your car number. I need to ask you why you're speeding down the road.
District 15.
Why you're speeding down the road, driving recklessly.
I'm going to be 10-6, follow to my B-boy. Copy 8, Louis Flores, near for your next door.
Why are you driving recklessly?
Creepy.
What's your name and badge number?
10-4, you said that that's a vehicle following you to your residence?
Affirmative. The subject's now out here filming me. If you can start District 2. First off, you can turn off your camera. It's against the law for you to film an officer.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. And
What's
I'm
the First
filming you
Amendment?
right now.
What's the First
I'm
Amendment?
not going to discuss it with
Freedom
you.
of press,
You need to get
freedom
into
of
your
religion,
car.
freedom of assembly,
Okay,
freedom
you have
to
no right
petition.
to follow me, and it's against the law.
You're driving recklessly.
You can call.
You're
You can
driving
call my
recklessly.
chief, and you can call the police department, and you can file a complaint. You're more than needing the right to do
That's
that.
why I need your name and badge number.
It's right
so
here.
I can file the complaint.
It's right here, and that's my card number. Take it and leave, or I'm
don't have to
gonna
leave.
arrest
I'll wait
you.
for your backup to
No,
come.
you don't need to. I don't need no backup. I'm telling you right now, it's against the law for you to be filming an officer. It's in the penal code. So if you want to discuss
It's
it, we
against the law
can.
to film an officer?
And I'll take you and
Call
I'll
a
book
supervisor
you.
out here.
I don't need to.
Call a supervisor out here.
Okay, you need to leave because you have no right to follow
Let me
me
get your
and film.
let me get your badge number real
I
quick.
just told you what it is, and there's my car number. Here's my name. You got it on camera.
Calvillo?
So go ahead and get in your car and leave.
Is there any reason why you're speeding down
I
the road?
just told you. Do you know what the speed limit is on the freeway?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so the reason why you were speeding, because I know my speedometer was at 75. Do you know what yours
70.
is?
You're going 75.
That's what my speedometer
I was going
is.
to speed limit.
No. So do you know the speed limit on the freeway then?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what is it?
I know the speed limit.
What is it?
I'm not the one being questioned
Okay.
here. You are.
No,
Because you're
I can
speeding.
question you all you want.
'Cause you're
so
speeding.
stop filming me, or like I said, I'm gonna place you in handcuffs and place you under arrest, and everything you do after that in front of your daughter is gonna be on you. So it's your choice.
Why are you shaking like that? Are
I'm
you
not
on
shaking.
drugs? Is that
I'm
why
not
you're
shaking.
driving recklessly the way you are? Stop, man. I haven't done anything illegal. Let's get the car and go.
I just told you you are. I gave you multiple opportunities. Yes, you have. I told you to stop recording me, and I gave you my name and my car, and I told you what you can do to file a report. I'm not going to debate it with you out in front of my residence. You have no right to follow me.
That's a good ass mic. What the hell is she using?
Just her iPhone.
God damn. I'm like, as soon as she put that out there, I could hear everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm watching the arm.
I don't follow you.
How am I
anymore.
supposed to know this is your residence?
I just told you it was multiple times, and that's when I asked you to get in your car
I'm
and
not
leave.
at your residence. I'm in the street anymore.
No,
I'm in a public property, dude. And you're fucking hurting. Stop.
I don't care.
You don't care? Stop doing that. Nobody's hurting.
All right, folks, so here's the update. I spoke to the chief and the lieutenant yesterday, and I want to say that they treated me with the utmost respect and told me the matter is being taken seriously and it's now under investigation. They couldn't give me any more information, but I have spoken to some parents that have kids at the school where Calvillo works, and he hasn't been back on campus since the incident. I'm guessing this means he's either suspended or on leave, more than likely until the investigation gets done. I actually hope that he doesn't come back because I believe he could be putting kids in danger. So after he did what he did to me, I went to the urgent care to check the damage in my shoulder, my wrists, and my ulna bone. One of the nurses said that she knew the cop. She said that him and his twin brother are extremely aggressive. That's when I decided to make sure that all the parents knew the dangers their kids face. Now, we can't go convicting his brother, right? Because he's not the one that was speeding and put me in cuffs. But here's a couple things that I want to point out. Dom Toretto Calvillo didn't want to identify by badge number, only saying, "You have my name," which makes me wonder. If I would have filed a complaint against his brother, it more than likely would have been thrown out. That's concerning to me. In my opinion, he was doing his best to circumvent justice by not identifying properly. In the video, you'll hear him confess to going 75 miles an hour. The speed limit on Golden State Avenue is 65 miles an hour. And that road can be extremely dangerous. There have been several folks that have crashed on that road, and some of those crashes have been deadly. That's the kind of road that you don't want to speed on. You can easily go over the side, as many have before. I also want to point out that he stopped my First Amendment right to record by telling me it was illegal to record and then threatened to arrest me. Then he made good on his threat. Now check this out. When a police officer in California stops you from recording in public, they can violate two major constitutional protections at the same time. First, it's classic First Amendment prior restraint, because courts across the country, from Glick to Cuniff to Turner v. Driver, shout out to Batusai, to ACLU versus Alvarez, have repeatedly held that the public has a clearly established right to record police. Second, when that unlawful restriction comes wrapped in threats, intimidation, or physical force, it becomes a Bain Act violation under California Civil Code, Section 52.1, because the officer is using coercion to interfere with the constitutional right. So when a cop says, turn the camera off or I'll arrest you, blocks your lens, pushes you back further than necessary, or uses their authority to intimidate you into not recording, that's both unconstitutional, prior restraint, and a Bain Act violation. The law is crystal clear here. Now let's talk about how aggressive he was. He put me in handcuffs. The left one was extremely tight. Then he pulled my right arm up my back after I was already in cuffs. You can see my legs shake a little bit from the pain. There was no adjusting myself for a comfortable position. He was pushing me against the car, holding my right hand as far up as he could against my back. And yes, folks, I'm still feeling pain from it. Luckily, the x-rays came back and it's just a sprain. I was not resisting in any way while in cuffs. There was absolutely no reason to treat me the way he did. This guy wanted to hurt me. He wanted to make me pay for holding him accountable. And if you look closely, you can see him shove me in the back of the cruiser, still holding my right hand up, putting pressure on my wrists from the handcuffs.
Yeah, that's I've always been trained to hold on to the cuffs or the elbow. I hate the elbow hold personally because I feel like you can lose control of them. But I've always been trained to hold the cuffs. I don't know. Did you guys ever get trained to hold on to the wrist and chicken wing them once they're cuffed?
No. I just have on top. First and foremost, let him sit down because he wasn't pulling away or doing anything. Just let him sit down.
Yeah, like there has to be
help.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of indicator, or he's tensing up, he's trying to pull away, something to start manhandling. When they're compliant, and here's the thing, he knows who the fuck you are, right?
I guess he didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who he was either.
Okay.
I spoke to a private investigator the other day, and he asked me certain questions like, did you ever know of him? Did you know his name? Did you know where he lived? Had you ever been to his house before? I'm like, none of that, dude. Like,
Okay.
I just wanted his name and badge number so I could file a complaint. It could have been easy. I would have been gone.
Right. So let me give you a pro tip. Don't film in the street, because a lot of cities have city ordinances about being in a roadway, blocking traffic, and that's how they can get you.
California law just changed to where jaywalking doesn't exist no more, unless you're actually blocking traffic. So
traffic has to be coming.
Right.
Okay. So that's the caveat. See, in Texas where I'm at, it doesn't matter. If you're blocking the roadway, that's a caveat. They can get you on that one. So I always tell our community, I'm like, look, you can film, don't do it from the road. I'm not going to bust you on it, but somebody else might. Go over the sidewalk, you're good to go all day. So just looking out for you. But if it's good to go out there in Cali, then do your thing. But yeah, and that's the thing, is it's state to state. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. He definitely had your he was chicken winging you, basically. So I don't know another way to call it. Looked like he was chicken winging you. But Matt, I'm gonna let you go first, buddy. What do you got?
David, where do you think this punishment should end? I mean, the guys, it's blatant violation of your constitutional rights under color law. When are we going to start seeing like serious punishment, not suspensions? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. Look, here's one thing. I don't believe that we need to pay for more training, to train police officers on the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. In reality, I think hiring cops without even knowing it is kind of like hiring a lifeguard who doesn't know how to swim, or a mechanic who doesn't know how to fix a car. It's like we don't even have to throw any more money at this training. Make them make them know it before they even apply for the job. At least come with some kind of knowledge. Take a quiz
Thank
on
you.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if we do that, I think we will start to create some change. You know, I don't know. I really don't know, man. I mean, as far as this personal incident with this officer, um, it would blow your minds. Okay, the people that have reached out to me. I'm talking about people that have worked alongside him, parents. This guy has a troubled past. You know, not all officers are like this guy. You know what I mean? Some will just say, "Hey, man, you know, you're recording. Oh, was I speeding, man? My bad." You know, and I'll slow it down. I'll keep it. You know, but this guy, he just took it to the extreme, and this guy has been violent for a long time. I have a recent video that was sent to me of him slamming like a 14-year-old special needs kid. Um, and from my understanding, you know, there's been coworkers that I've tried to talk to him and say, "Hey, you know, just you don't have to be that aggressive," you know. And he's more along the lines of, "Don't you ever undermine me," you know, and stuff like that. And he's extremely problematic. And you know, I didn't expect any of that to happen. But even when I was in handcuffs, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't, you know, stressed out. I can't wait for the body cam footage, you know, after the investigation is over, because when he opened the door, I was telling him, like, dude, you have no idea, you know, what you got yourself into, bro. Like, this is what I do. I record police and I ask questions, you know. And
yeah,
so.
you did it masterfully. Because like you said, you didn't get disrespectful. You just stuck to the norm, which was great. There was a question that got popped up there. I wanted to address it. It was East Los Audits said, is there a policy saying we must sit on the floor when being detained by law enforcement? I believe that there was a Supreme Court ruling, and I don't know it off the top of my head, and I am not a lawyer, but I vaguely remember some training saying as long as it's not an unreasonable request during a lawful detainment, then yes, they can ask you to do that, or they can make you do that. So it's one of those things like, what do you want to argue and why you want to argue it? You know what I mean? If somebody asks you to sit down while they're getting 3 more people out of your vehicle, that makes sense. You guys. One of the things I love about you, San Joaquin, is like one of the things that I ask everybody when we first start having conversations where they're really critical about police. I got to know, do you think police are necessary? And you and I had talked about that before. You're like, they absolutely are necessary. So
That's a great question. And, you know, I speak to the who is who of government and police accountability. There's a friend of mine, his name's Jason Basser. He's the original police the police guy. For years he's had millions of followers on Twitter, on Facebook. This guy is amazing. All right. And I've been on his podcast before. And he also runs a website called the Free Thought Project. This guy makes you think outside the box. You know, this guy makes you question your own, you know, your own how do I say, your own approach to all of this. A lot of channels like James Freeman, they all say, I love Jason. He's a big mind. He's a great mind. And Jason Basser has invited me to his home. He's been to my home several times. Just an amazing guy to talk to, right? And your question, do we need cops? So there is a thing called statism versus voluntarism, right? I've been on the fence because, you know, I'm still kind of a statist where, you know, I think to myself, well, we need cops because I don't want to pay. I mean, I don't want to go out and catch bank robbers, murderers, and killers. Maybe I'm not trained for that. Maybe I just have kids that I don't want to risk my life to do that or something. You know, we need cops to do a certain specific job, right? To catch real bad guys, because there's obviously real bad guys out there. But so that puts me in the category of being a statist. Somebody of a voluntarist mind thinks to themselves like, well, we the people can do this job. We can build roads. We can do all this. We don't need government. We don't need cops telling us what to do. But I'm still at the mindset of more along the lines of a statist. But that's kind of hard as well, because when you are a statist and you pay your taxes and you pay cops to do this job, you also got to pay for them to do other things as well. traffic stops. There is that argument, should we be paying, or should we be getting tickets for victimless crimes? You guys have heard that before. So there's like this massive argument, pulling forces on both sides of where are we at and where do we need to be. Like I said, I've been on the fence for a long time, but I'm still of the mindset as we still need cops to do certain jobs. So yeah, I still am of the mindset that we do need cops. I'm not anti-police. I never was. And it's kind of difficult. That's a very, very tough question when you throw all of that into that. And that's why I asked Jason Basser one day. We're sitting at my kitchen table and we were talking, and I was like, I have a question, bro. I was like, what would a voluntary society look like? And because it just doesn't make any sense to me, right? We're going to have militias go out and take care of certain things. He says, let me point you in the direction of a man. And every time I think about this, I forget his name. Dale Jones, Dale something, right? He was the guy who he kind of started going famous on like TikTok and Instagram where people would point guns at him and he would just take them away, point it back and stuff like that. Like he would just make a turn real quick and point it back. And then people started making memes of this guy where they would wake up in heaven. It's shit's funny, but he said that guy, I don't know if it's Dale Jones or something like that. When I find the guy, I'll send him to you. But apparently in the Detroit area, there was a police department who was being paid to patrol a certain town, a certain neighborhood, but they weren't doing it. They were just hanging out on the outskirts, and they were just never there. So that department was disbanded. Well, to this very day, that guy led, he's actually a real badass, right? People are making fun of this guy, but he's actually a real badass. He created a community where they're going out to stop crime, where they go out and if they see like a teenage girl walking down the road, they'll walk her home. They'll make sure she gets home safe. Like they do things in their communities to truly help the community. And I'm like, damn, well, that's pretty powerful, So I think about that. I think about, government being a statist, and do we need government for certain things? I also think of government as contracts. Like what contracts do we have with the government? We pay taxes. We go to the DMV. We pay for our driver's license. Other than that, government really shouldn't be involved in our daily activities and stuff like that. Like one of the things we tell cops when we're out there is, you have no authority over me unless I break the law. So you have no power. I do have an issue with the news agencies calling them the authorities, because who do cops have authorities of? Until you break the law, I am my authority, right? I have the authority to do and say as I wish, as I please, as long as I'm not, violating somebody else or doing something illegal. So, I mean, that question kind of entails a lot, but I am still, I guess I could have just answered it with, yeah, we still need cops, but yeah, man, I
like a detailed, I like a well thought out answer, man. I think you did well. And the reason I asked that question is because if they come to the table like, no, we don't need police. Well, you're so far extreme one way. We're never going to come to the table and have a real conversation. So, banning Matt, has that been your experience when you get somebody who's like, no, we don't need police at all? Like that's a hard view to reach. It's a hard view to have any common ground on.
You need to arrest and chase out the bad ones.
That's start. Yeah. Agreed. And there's one quick thing that I do want to address, because I was an academy instructor. So, I'm of the mindset we can never, like, more training on everything. So when we were talking about training on the Constitution, it's not that I think you need to pour more money into training on the Constitution, but it definitely needs to be in the academy. But I do like your idea of it being a screening process for hiring, because also one of the things that I want cops to have is a grappling background. I think cops need to have a mandatory 2 years of grappling, because in grappling training, one, you get humbled. You learn real quick that you are not the big dog. And if you never had your ass kicked, that's about the safest way you can learn how to die multiple ways. And it really shows you where you're at in the world. And just like boxing, for some reason, T-Rex Arms over there likes to box. So
stay close.
Yeah, stay close. He's a body shot guy. You don't want to get hit by Matt's body shots. But boxing, well, I took boxing up as well. And Tyson said it best. Everybody's got a plan until they got punched in the face or whatever was hit in the mouth. But I think that needs to be a prerequisite, because getting the badge, getting the uniform does present a level of arrogance and cockiness that I think you need for the job. But at the same time, that can't be where your arrogance and cockiness comes from. It can't come from the uniform. It's got to come from confidence in training and knowing you know what you're doing. I think that's where that arrogance and cockiness comes from. Matt, Banning, you guys got anything on the subject there?
I think one thing that we seriously lack is prioritization in all of our training in the academy. And I'm going to use a kind of an analogy. I'm a man of God, so everything that I believe in that is in my heart and has anything to do with my actions, it revolves around Jesus. So everything comes back to him, and what I do, how I act, the rules that I follow. I think that should transfer right over to the policing world. Everything is about the Constitution. Like, that's where everything comes back to. It governs us. It controls us. It serves it's there so that we don't violate it, and it's there to make this. It's what makes this country great. I don't think that's done in the academy. I think it's glossed over. I don't think it's prioritized nearly enough as it should be. That, along with cherishing the public. I think from all my training and experience, the public is kind of secondary, and it's not. The public is to be cherished and loved, and I think those two things are what really need to be 1 and 2, right top of every training, and everything should point right back to it during training, throughout your career, and continue training, and so on and so forth.
I like that. I agree. Banning?
My whole thing, and excuse my French, is don't be a dick as a cop. I'm just being honest. You know, right there is Jesus centered, and don't call me a hypocrite for using the cuss word in that as well. But it's the whole thing of, I did it for 21 years, and I've had thousands of traffic stops, and I just wasn't an ass. I never had issues. Did somebody have a warrant and they were just going to fight no matter what? Sure. And just like when I watched you getting handcuffed, I mean, I never once pushed somebody up against a car. I mean, once I grab something, it doesn't go away. So I just grab them. And,
he doesn't know how big you are, by the way.
Well,
Banning is
it's not that I'm big.
320 pounds of fights bulls.
But it's just the fact of the training. We can sit here and blame all this on training, but it comes from the top down. And I've got literally thousands of chiefs and elected sheriffs as friends, and they know I don't mind saying that. It's not going to bother me. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. You are absolutely responsible as a chief and a sheriff for every single person under the roof of that police department or sheriff's office or sheriff's department, whatever you're going to call it in your state. For every friggin' peace officer that you have, you are 100% accountable. And if you can't have the training to where each and every one of your friggin' officers, dispatchers, corrections, detectives, everybody are not in line and not doing the training, let them go. Get somebody in there that will, period. You've got to have that training. You've got to be accountable for it. I don't care if you've got 2 men at your department, 1 man, all the way up to several thousand. You have got to do that, period. And 21 years, man. And I just wasn't an ass. I think I've asked 2 people. I try to pay attention to these comments, but they come so fast, and I'm just getting older. But people asking, the laws of sitting down and crossing your legs. I think I've had 2 people sit down, and that's right before my backup arrived, and I was unloading a full automatic weapon that I saw in the passenger seat, and they complied. I asked it as a question. I didn't do it as a demand, and they listened. Just don't be an ass. I mean, that's just my advice to the cops out there. Don't be an ass, and you're going to get a lot more of what you call compliance out of what you need done, so you can go home at the end of the night, and so can the people that you're dealing with go home at the end of the night, or whatever it is that needs to be done, period.
Never had anybody actually argue sitting down. If I asked them to sit, hey, have a seat, nobody's ever been like, do I have to? No one's ever done that, I guess. I don't know.
It's how you compose yourself as a professional, too. Yeah. You're not representing yourself. You're representing that entire city or county that has hired you to work. And if you can't be a freaking professional, go to Walmart. Go work stocking the shelves. Go work something else. It's a respectable job. Go do something else.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question that I wanted to ask you, sir, is there's a bunch of auditors out there now. Okay. And it's probably why it's hard for me, because I got in the game kind of late with auditors and seeing what they're all about. I've noticed amongst a lot of them, or that I've heard, there's kind of like these three different tiers. There seems to be those that the righteous cause. I feel like you're one of those. We've had Long Island Audit on here. I feel like he's one of those. James, is it James Gray?
Jeff Gray.
Jeff Gray. I always call him James. Jeff Gray, another one. And then you get some. I just learned about this, so please don't make fun of me, guys. I just learned about this. You got some that actually go out and they call the cops on themselves. So there's those guys. And then there's kind of like the ones that are out there that are simply just trying to be sensational and nutty. Now, has that been your experience? What have you seen? I feel like the community would be stronger if they united versus having these differences. And what has been your opinion on that?
That's a great question. Shout out to Jeff Gray, Honor Your Oath. A lot of folks refer to him as the godfather of First Amendment auditing.
Is he?
No, well, it's actually a man named Carlos Miller. He actually coined the term. He used to be with Pinnock News. Photography is not a crime. I kind of been around, since the very beginning. They say that I'm kind of like one of the first wave of auditors that was out there.
Yeah, they told me you were OG. Yep.
Yeah, there's only like a handful of auditors that were before me. Jeff Gray was one of them. But I once gave him the credit for coining the term, but he reached out to me and he said, no, it wasn't me, it was Carlos Miller, but I kind of ran with it. I think me personally, I try to keep the original premise of what a First Amendment audit is or was. And that was to go and just ask questions with your camera, go to these installations, arrive on scene with the camera, just observe. But I guess people decided to start doing all kinds of different stuff where they're actually recording people eating and just kind of try to, get a rise out of the common folks. And to me, I was like, I don't really want to talk bad about anybody personally. I just want to say like that kind of wasn't my thing. I felt like I was going to keep the original premise from day one up until now. I don't like I said, I don't want to badmouth anyone, but there are a lot of people that do a lot of dumb shit, just like in police officers. That's why you guys have to call out, cops and their bad actions. Same thing, we have to call out their actions as well and some of the things that they do. I just, calling the cops on yourself, that to me is like, it just really didn't make sense, going and recording private businesses to get a rise out of people, that didn't really make sense to me. So I was just going to kind of keep the original premise, like I said. But I do also believe that auditing has advanced, we have gotten better with what we do. We're getting better at records requests. There's a channel, shout out to Audit Them, who's probably the best at going out and asking for records and getting crazy videos of, them not wanting to give you records. There was another channel out of Washington doing the same thing, a lot of records requests. Even myself, I do records requests now, and I never used to do that before. So the game is ever changing. Maybe it's expanding, it's getting bigger. People are going to do some dumb shit, and people are going to do some really good stuff. And I try to focus on the good stuff, keeping my original premise as well of going to the government installations, asking questions. Now we're going to city council meetings. Now we're speaking up. I went and spoke in Arvin, California against the flock camera systems. And I was nervous. I'm just like my very first audit video, you could tell my voice was nervous. And even though I've been doing auditing for a long time, when I went to go speak at the city council meeting for my very first time, I was nervous. And I told a good friend of mine who's actually in here today, his channel's called We Got a Call. One time I told him.
I just hit him up on there. Yeah, good.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a really good friend of mine. Made in America as well. A lot of good, solid people in here. Angry Vet, love all you guys, man. Cody, High Roller, thank you all for being here. Where was I going with this?
Being nervous, talking in front of all those
Yeah, right.
people.
Thank you. I said, in my first video, I was a coward, bro. You can tell. And he was like, no. He's all, a coward is when you're afraid to do something and you don't do it. He's all, that was bravery. He's all, you were afraid and you still did it. And okay, we all get better at it. I've spoken at a city council meeting after that, and I wasn't, as nervous. But the more we practice these things, the less nervous we become. The braver we become, and the better we get at it. Even myself, I've done a lot of dumb shit along the way. There's videos out there that are now private because it's embarrassing. I don't like seeing myself like that. So I try to improve along the way and just try to keep the original premise. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I mean,
yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Yeah, because I actually got some of these questions I've been asking you from people in our community that they love you guys. They love everything that you guys do, and they've, Mr. Billfold's one of them. I got like most of the stuff that I'm asking you tonight is mostly from him because I love using my audience because they have a perspective that me, Matt, and Banning can't have. We're inside of law enforcement. It's going to be very hard for us to have the mindset of somebody outside of law enforcement. Yeah, we have opinions that are against the norm, but if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we're cops. And our mind, the way we think of things is always going to be slightly different. And I want people that are outside of law enforcement, I want them to keep me humble, to keep me even keel. I grew up in Flint, Michigan. I didn't tell you this, but it's not very it's not famously known for being pro cop. We'll just put it that way. Don't drink the water. And Flint it's a hard area. So shout out to all my Flintstone thugs out there. Dayton family, what's up? But yeah, it's one of those things that I want to get these types of questions from people that really want to know that aren't cops. So a lot of stuff we're asking is from them. And you're definitely hitting the nail on the head. So I didn't want to put you in an awkward position either with your fellow auditors and stuff like that. But somebody had mentioned earlier that even the bad ones, I'll put that in air quotes, even the bad ones are still flexing their First Amendment rights. And that's correct. So I want to make it clear kind of how my position is. There's auditors that drive me up the fucking wall. I'm like, I don't like the way you do it. I hate it. But goddamn, is it a beautiful thing to watch because you get to do it. So that is, again, I'm an optimistic person. That's just how I'm wired. I'm stupid that way. It is a fatal flaw of mine. I know it. But that if I were to look at anybody that gets irritated and mad about First Amendment auditors and gets upset and calls them frauders, like try to do that in another country. Try to do that anywhere else. And they'll rip it. And that is why one of the things I do on my channel, and if you did any research, you may see some videos where it says, so you think cops do it better in other countries? Because that's often a thing that gets put on us. Well, you should be like Japan cops because they all have black belts in judo. You should do it like these cops because they don't carry guns and da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, but there's things that they do and don't do that you're not aware of. There's a lot of freedoms that you have over here that if you tried that there, just saying something on social media could get you put in jail. So yes, there are better things that they do. That doesn't mean they're better cops across the whole. We got work to do here. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not trying to say we don't. I wouldn't call out bad cops if we had nothing to do. But I think one of the ways we bridge the gap with guys like you is one, we do this. How often do cops do this? They don't. We need to be working together because I think what you do and the way you do it is a beautiful thing. And First Amendment auditors has firsthand affected my career because I seen the training change. I saw that because where I'm at, our training is like, we're very progressive. We're way ahead of the curve on a lot of things. They saw this coming and they were like, we need to address it now before it becomes a thing here. And we did. And I'm glad they did because I would have failed it. I don't know if you would have failed it, Matt. I'm being honest. I would have failed it because I'd have been like, oh, you can't film in that building. You can't film their computer screens. Like I would have thought that was illegal. I needed the training. First Amendment auditors got me that training. So thank you. I mean, honestly,
You're welcome.
that's what happened. You guys exposed a gap in training, and the departments that took it serious, they don't have those issues as much. Everybody's susceptible to it. You always have a couple idiots that don't pay attention in class or whatever, but they get weeded out pretty easy.
If you don't mind me asking, David, how many times have you been in handcuffs doing this over the years?
That's a good question.
I've been arrested. Well, this is actually my third time. I beat the first two cases. One in Arizona, they put a warrant for my arrest. And like 6 months later, after the video was already posted for trespassing, and on my second court date in Arizona, I was found guilty. So, yeah, I mean, I guess this would be like my, third time in handcuffs, since I started auditing,
And see that the fact that you go out there and put your freedom on the line to disseminate truth and hold cops accountable. Like I've just been in awe since day one. Like you guys are like heroes to me. Like very few people have the balls to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just, Sean was on here saying how many he's been arrested a dozen times. And like, man, that's people talk like that's a small deal. Being arrested is a huge deal. And
It's
the fact
huge.
that you're willing to go out there and do it, like, dude, my hat's off to you.
Hey, it's real humbling. So thank you guys. Thank you, Matt. I'll give a quick tip of what I do and maybe why I haven't been arrested as many times as some of these other guys. When I walk up and I'm recording, I don't look at them in the eyes. I kind of look at them through my phone, kind of smiling, giggling, laughing, talking to them. I also have a certain demeanor when I come up, non-aggressive, but I'm still stern. You know what I mean? I'm non-aggressive, but I'm stern. Like, what's up, man? How you doing today? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You doing all right? Cool, man. Or I'll just give them a quick thumbs up or like a quick, what's up, man? Just recording, like, what's up? And they're just like, a lot of them, maybe they don't like what I'm doing, but they see the way I do it and right away. And I think by me looking at my camera instead of their eyes sometimes, it makes them think twice about arresting me. I think that has saved my ass numerous times. So maybe that's a tip for anybody who does, want to record in the future. I try to give tips along the way on my channel of what to do. Also, you don't have to take every arrest. I've been told by cops, like, back up at least 10 feet. And I'm like, if I don't, are you going to arrest me? I kind of put it on them, and if they say, yeah, I'm going to take you to jail. I'm like, all right, I'm going to back up a little bit, but I understand it has to be reasonable. So they're really in the Supreme Court, there is no set distance. It has to be kind of reasonable. So I have had cops tell me to go across the street, and I'm like, that's unreasonable. I'm not doing it. So I kind of, I have to kind of challenge them on that sometimes. But yeah, man, I mean, it's kind of tough, man. It's still nerve wracking. The adrenaline rush, it's always there. Whenever at every police encounter, you never know how the officer's gonna act with me. So I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, here we go, let's go, and I just kind of try to kind of creep in slowly and just, hey, man, like, and so I've had a lot of interactions where I think I kind of diffuse, a hot-headed cop sometimes. There was one cop recently who I was speaking to, really good attitude. His last name was Alexander, Bakersfield Police. One time, one of the other officers was trying to bully me, and he kind of tapped him on the arm, and he's like, "Leave him alone, bro." And you could see the cop, he just looked at him and then looked at me again. He's just kind of walked away. And I was like, that's cool. That's really cool. A lot of these guys do know who I am now. All of the agencies here know who I am. A lot of them see me. I can't go anywhere without being recognized. And I also want to touch bases on one of the things that you said about jiu-jitsu. My son, my oldest son, he trains jiu-jitsu and he actually competes. He does very well.
Nice.
He's also my grandson's wrestling coach.
If you don't mind me asking, do you know what schools he goes to? Like who's his instructors or what lineage he's in?
I know he goes to a couple different ones. I know Rio Bravo Jiu-Jitsu out here in Bakersfield.
Okay.
There's a couple other ones that he goes to. He likes to roll with a lot of guys. And so shout out to my friend Rights Crispy who's on here. He invited me and my family to go to Colorado, spend time with them, and we talked to a couple officers, and one of them was talking about, I think he said he was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and how he believes it's important. My son was like, because I guess my son, one of the questions he likes to ask is, do you believe officers should, learn jiu-jitsu? And
yeah.
the officer was like, yes, as a matter of fact, I'm a blue belt, and my son was like, that's awesome. So we had a really good conversation with that. And
hell yeah.
So yeah, man, I agree. I think all police officers should have some jiu-jitsu training. I think it's important. And it's there's a lot of discipline that's involved in there, in that as well, certain type of discipline. I've been to a bar where there's Raider fans, okay, and everybody at the end of the day is fighting.
Yeah.
But I've been to bars or places where they're showing the fights, and you bump into somebody and you're like, I'm sorry, man, I apologize, and like, oh no, it's good, man, pat you on the back, and no, you're good, bro, you're good. There seems to be a certain type of discipline that comes with this type of stuff, with training and being like involved in the fight world. You don't have to prove yourself all the time.
Yes. So one of the things that I like to say is that when you're trained, especially in grappling, this is one of the, and Matt will probably attest to this for the boxing world as well. When you're trained, you have a level of confidence. When you're confident, your hesitation goes down. So being confident, less hesitant, equals safer all around. And this really throws people off when I say that, but if an officer has to throw a quick punch for a one and done, I punch him, he stumbles, does whatever, but I can move in and I can cuff. That is way better than a hesitant officer who is not trained and then goes to every fucking tool on his Batman belt and ends up shooting a motherfucker because they were not trained well enough. They were hesitant, and then they end up going to a higher use of force. Now, it never looks good. Violence never looks good. But if Matt throws a jab and stuns him real quick, moves in and cuffs him, that's way better than getting, some dumbass that didn't take his training serious. And now he's trying to tase, and that didn't work. And then he moves in, and then he gets tired because he's not fit, and then he switches over to a gun. So, yes, exactly what you're saying. When you have that training, you tend... And Matt, you tell me, like, how many uses of force you really get into? None. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since 2006. Before that, I was doing judo. Before that, I was doing, don't laugh, but Shotokan karate, which is like a kid thing. But and then I got into boxing like 4 or 5 years ago. So it was kind of my more recent thing that I did. But I do all this stuff. So if I got any use of force, I was ready. But I did all this training, and it gave me a level of confidence in some sort of aura. And you tell me, because you're around your son that does it, and the people that are there, they have an aura about them. And you're like, I wouldn't fuck with this guy. I mean, I know he trains, but if you see them out and about, there's just something about people that train. That's why you never hear about MMA guys getting into big brawls, hardly ever, unless they get really punch drunk like Matt. But sorry, I pick on Matt a lot.
I always messing with me, man,
because I'm scared. It's my only defense mechanism.
It does. In all seriousness, it takes away your fear. Like
yes,
and someone who's not afraid is a calmer person. Yes. And that goes hand in hand with police work, and that along with social skills and be able to de-escalate everything. I could count on one hand in all these years how many times I've had to use like actual force.
Every use of
cool with people.
Yes, every use of force I've really gotten into isn't me versus some person. It's they were already fighting with another officer and I came in to help. That's usually how it would go for me. But and then you got guys like Banning who fucking wrestles cows for a living and nobody messes with him.
Well, let me just shout at this because I'm a big harper on training. Everybody else on our panel is training. However, let's do a big shout out to the moms and dads, or even ones that have lack thereof of the other partner that still whip their kids' ass when they have to, when they act out.
Right.
I'm straight up going to put that out there. My parents did not put up with my bullshit as a young child and put me in line. I had Eric and I can go back and forth in the military. I was in the Marines myself. My father was an officer, but anytime I got out of line as a child, 6, 7 years old, I knew when that belt came off, I did something. I didn't listen. Something went on. So the parents out there, that is a big line. I don't care if you're a suspect, a victim, a cop, an auditor, whatever you are a product more than likely of what came out when you grew up. Now, you can get better if you came from a crap household. You may have somebody that fills in those slots that are amazing men and women out there that become stepdads, stepmoms, people to church, whatever. But those people that bring you to that level, those are usually the people that aren't friggin' assholes. And excuse my French, guys. I apologize. But we do have a parenting issue. We have a cop. There's so many issues going on. But thank you to those parents out there that truly pay attention to what your kids are going through, and you correct that stuff before they come out into society.
I tend to agree with that. I think parenting is a great way to start cutting off the pass of a lot of the issues that we deal with out here. Kind of like what Matt's got going on. Matt's nonprofit. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys are familiar, but he's doing some great things with some troubled youth that, don't necessarily have the parents right there with them, or, like my mom, she had to work, and she had to raise me by herself for a while. And, it's hard to be a parent while your kid is home by themselves or doing whatever and stuff like that. So, I don't want parents to feel bad about their situations, because there are some parents that are stuck in a situation that's really hard. But some of the stuff like that Matt's doing out there, I don't know what your religious affiliates are or anything like that, but I do believe God's presence is in what Matt's doing, and I love you for that, brother. I love what you guys got going out there.
I gotta send you a video. I brought all my daughters out, and we took Thanksgiving food all to the neighborhood yesterday. It was wonderful.
It's awesome.
Right, nice.
We had a van full. We were out there all day.
Oh,
I'll see some of the footages, but it's pretty cool. My little ones out there today going into the projects. It helps them have a particular appreciate life and helping, and the value of helping people, because they was all smiles. They didn't want to stop. We ran out of food, but they didn't want to stop. So that was beautiful stuff yesterday.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. I love that type of thing.
Awesome.
But yeah, let me think. If there was, I want to make sure that, again, I really like our audience, and I want to make sure that I covered the questions that my buddy wanted us to ask. That is not a cop. It looks like we covered the majority of what we were looking for out of that. So cool.
Eric, I just covering, Made in America's asked several times. I want to know two cops' opinion on muting body worn camera. That's come across. Sorry,
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
I have a major problem with it. I was an officer for many, many years of my life before I got into the supervisory role. I have never, and I was a body worn camera instructor when the body worn camera came out. Did I know how to mute a mic? Absolutely. Could I teach it? Yes. Did I teach it? No. Was it my format on what I could do as an instructor? Absolutely. So everybody on my shift didn't know how unless they looked it up themselves on how to mute a body camera. If you are called by the general public or you initiate a call for service as a peace officer, I believe during that call the entire time, your visual and your audio cues do not need to be muted or cut off. And I only had a couple instances to where I had to investigate and look at, but typically it was a battery going dead, which is also an issue that we had to train on. Or something else. One of my guys did mute when he got a call from his wife. Further investigation revealed, because the dash camera picked up that audio, she was pregnant. There were some issues going on, so I understand why he did it. We just spoke on, hey, next time let's take that call after we get done with this priority one call, because it was a very serious call that we were on, as soon as we get done, or come get me or get somebody else. Hey, I got a personal issue going on. They need to be cut from the call. Once they cut and bait and they've cut and cleared from that call, handle your personal business. But while we're on this call, all that stuff is held to the fire, and it can be called into court. That's Banning's opinion on it.
So it was, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning part of the question, but was it our stance on muting cameras?
Like if an officer would take their physical fingers, get down here and mute their whatever body camera manufacturer that they have while they're on a call for service. That's what the question is, I believe.
Okay, so I'll give you what my initial thought on body cameras being muted was. My initial thought on muting body cameras, I was like, well, it makes sense that there's times that you should mute it. Like if I'm taking a statement at a hospital and there's, sensitive information, or the doctor's coming in and talking and all this stuff. And that was kind of my initial stance on that. I was like, so cops need to have the ability to mute that. I have since changed that opinion because of our community. We have redaction teams for a reason. So now I am of the opinion we shouldn't mute it ever. Let the redaction team earn their money, do what they're supposed to do. We should not be muting. That damn thing needs to be recording the whole time during a call. And I think the standard should be that I do think cops need to have the ability to turn their camera on and off. One, because the cameras don't last the whole damn shift if they're recording the whole time anyway. You don't want to see me going to the bathroom. I don't want redaction team seeing me go to the bathroom. So there are reasons, to turn your camera off. If I'm eating my lunch in the sector, whatever it is, I don't need my camera running. So that's what I believe on that. But if I get dispatched to a call, the minute I accept that call, I should hit, accept on the computer or over the radio, and then that camera comes on, or vice versa. I turn it on. Okay, I'm about to accept this call. Boom. And that camera does not turn off until I am done with the call. When I get on dispatch, or if I get on my computer and go, all right, show me back out, available for service. And that's how I view it. I don't think we should be shutting the camera on mute ever. Let the redaction team earn their money. So, Matt, what's your thoughts, buddy?
Total agreement. There shouldn't even be a mute button on there.
Yeah. Mr. Billfold gave me some shit. He's like, Axon should be held liable for putting a mute button. I'm like, bro, it's a private business. You can't tell a private business what to do.
However, anybody can be civilly liable if they fall under a vendor for law enforcement. Yeah, so you can't, I get it. And so I get Bill Billfold's comment on that. Because like I said, I've had one or two in 21 years, and I think that's a pretty good record.
Yeah.
And it's, but I've heard, I get what these people were saying on the comments.
Yeah. And if we could only get corrections officers, judges, prosecutors, who am I missing? All these motherfuckers need to be wearing body cameras. Cops, we're going to be the punching bag. I get it. We are the front of justice. We're the pawns. That's what we are. If we're going to be honest, we're the front face of every bad policy, bad law, whatever it is. We are the guys. We're never there on somebody's best day. We're there on their worst day. So we're the punching bag. That's fine. We signed up for that. But damn it, a lot of these people that we're the fodder for, they're not wearing body cameras. They're not being checked and balanced like they should. They're, the prosecutors that let some of these, felons that have got 40 fit. Look at that poor woman from the Ukraine that came over and got stabbed to death on that bus. And that dude had been arrested 58 times or some crazy number. Them prosecutors there ain't nobody going back looking at the cases and seeing how they decided what they decided. And judges, don't get me started on judges. That's been a new project of mine. It's finding these judges' rulings. They're like, I don't like what you're wearing. Shut up. Get out of my courtroom. And I'm just like, how is that a law? Like, what is this a feelings thing that we're doing? You don't like the way that, oh my God, somebody showed me this Siberian tiger recently. Have you ever seen that, dude?
Yeah, he's good.
Holy shit. The video that I watched, this man is in court and he is going off on the judge. And I'm sitting there going, my heart's racing for him. Cause I'm like, oh my God, judges are so don't fuck with the judge. That's the last person I would ever screw with.
What is the guy? What does he do?
Oh my God.
Is he an attorney?
Cop watches auditing.
Bro, this guy got started from they raided his house on accident, wrong, improperly. It wasn't him. They were looking for somebody else. And they made this guy go to court. And bro, it was like waking up John Wick. It was like waking up John Wick. That is literally what they did. I will share you the videos that Mr. Billfold sent me. It is insane. This guy went off on the judge, and there was nothing the judge could say because he was factually correct. All the shit he was saying was right. It was like, remember that movie Law Abiding Citizen?
Yeah.
When he's like, I string along a bunch of case law and you follow it like a dog or like a bitch in heat. Like that's basically what this dude does. It was insane. So yeah. But anyway, let me get back to our guest. I'm sorry. San Juan.
Oh man, it's important.
It's fun stuff for us. But I want to get to the comments. Do you got anybody in the chats that you wanted to get on there? Let me know. Because
there's a woman, Susan Bassey, who was in here earlier. She works with me a lot. She is in Northern California and up there in that area, but she does like a lot of family law. So she deals a lot with like judging. She's discovered that there's a lot of private judging going on out here. There's a lot of there's a lot of people that do a lot of work. For instance, the guy that just donated Power of the People, his name's Cameron Wilson. He does a lot of stuff pro se. He's amazing as well. Shout out to Joshua Martinez. Many years ago, this guy was challenged the judge in court as well. And a lot of people, like I said, these things are progressing. The people are getting smarter at this and questioning authority and questioning these things. And you're right, judges need to be held accountable as well.
Yep.
They have what's called absolute immunity, and
yeah.
And so does the DA and even the public defenders, and there's just a lot of people doing a lot of things. I also want to give a shout out to my 3 sons. My oldest son, David Jr., who does the jiu-jitsu, he started a channel. He was doing this as well. My other son, Nicky, he just had a baby. So now I'm grandpa of 3 now, which is amazing. And my son, thank you guys. My son, Nate Skates 182, who was just in here, he actually started recording with me in 2017. He was 14 years old when he first came out with me. He's already an adult. He's 20, 21, 22, I think. He's already an adult now. And, one of the things I told my boys is I would really want them to live their lives and do other stuff as well, get jobs. Don't spend your life doing what I'm doing, because it's
grown folk business.
Really stressful. Yeah, well, I mean, this takes a lot out of you. This can take a lot out of you as well.
Yeah.
You continue to see videos that piss you off, like Matt said, he wanted to kick the screen. These things kind of take a lot out of you as well. You have to be a certain kind of person to continue to watch this stuff and to continue.
Okay, so hold on. Let's discuss this part right here, because I think, and Matt and Banning and San Juan, let me know if you guys are kind of on the same board with me here. For what y'all do, I think it takes that life experience to do it right. Because one of the things that I worry about with the younger generation is seeing guys like you and they're like, I can fucking do that. Can you? And again, I'm not trying to step on your freedom to do so. You're a grown man. You 18 or older, go to town. But I think there comes something with that, with the age and the experience. What's your thoughts on that?
I just shared a video on my channel from a channel called Wichita Audits, and that video is going viral. And this guy is young, and he's really good. And he put a judge in check in the hallway because the judge was trying to extend his authority, his power to the hallway. And he's like, this is my courtroom. He's like, no, that's your courtroom. This is a hallway. And there was cops there almost ready to arrest him. And he kept telling the cops, like, all you got to do is say, I'll be arrested and I'll leave. He's like, you guys don't want to do it. If you guys don't say it, I'm not leaving. So the judge ended up getting owned. He walked back in, left. And I was embarrassed for the judge. Okay. I'm like, wow, I've never seen anything like it. And he's young, from my understanding. He's like, I don't know if he's 18 or something like that, but he's really young. There's a story of a man, a 17-year-old out of New York. He was a really young auditor. Nobody really knows about this because his videos were all put on private. And he was actually killed by several different, I think 3 different agencies out of New York. Onondaga, New York, Onondaga County, I think, or something like that, and some other departments. They knew who he was. He was a 17-year-old auditor. He was really good. I did speak to him a couple times. And then next thing you know, he started getting targeted and harassed by the departments out there. He ended up putting his videos on private, and then he ended up getting shot and killed.
Oh.
I guess his mom called the cops on him and even told him that he had an airsoft gun. But when the cops are out there, and they've kind of followed him like through the snow and into like a wooded area, just a whole bunch of shots ring out, bam, 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 from everywhere, and they killed the poor kid. Not very many people know about this story. I did do a live stream about this probably about 4 years ago. That live stream went viral, but not very many people know about Judson Album. Rest in peace, Judson Album. But he was a young auditor that actually got killed by police.
We did share one really young one. He was doing a post office. Do you remember that one, guys? We did one where he was in a post office.
Oh, when the cop actually came in and did the right thing.
Yeah, the cop came in, and the one cop was like screwing it, or it wasn't the cop that was screwing it up, but the people inside the post office itself was screwing it up really bad. And this officer came in. I mean, if I were to give an example of how I am in police work, this guy was the epitome of how I behave in police work. I don't know that I'd be nearly as articulate or as knowledgeable as him. I'm not putting myself on that pedestal, but my demeanor is like his. I'm just always a happy guy, pretty much. And that's how this guy was. It was really cool to watch. And we shared that because the young, very, very young auditor, he was right. He was nailing it. And that's great. But again, like I say, I'm looking at it from a thing of experience. The whole reason we do this channel, guys, is it's education. We're trying to improve things all around. We're trying to improve things with law enforcement. We're trying to improve things with citizens because, like you said, those post office employees were wrong. They didn't know. But this officer came in and he used that opportunity to educate and not violate anybody's right. It was great. It was a great video. And we think it's very important on Two Cops, One Donut to share good videos and bad videos. We need, and this is a hard part for people that are, on that kind of they don't like cops crowd. Share the good ones so we have examples of cops doing well. We want to inspire the right people to do the job. If we can agree that cops need to be here, let's inspire the right people to do the police work. And so that's why I think it's important to share the good stuff. And call out the bad. Share the good, explain why it's good, and hope that encourages better training down the road for other places. So
I was told a long time ago to not share the good videos because they don't go viral and stuff like that. But there's a reason why I put transparency in my channel name. I wanted to highlight the good and the bad. I wanted there to be an example for how to behave, how to approach this, and many of my videos where I, highlight other people's videos as well. Because another thing that I started doing early on as well is I realized that it was important to kind of encourage people to pick up a camera, record, and ask questions and start their channels. And I would give you a shout out and help your channels grow. I'm known to help small channels grow as well. So I kind of did that from the beginning. But one of the things that I did was from the very beginning is highlight the good interactions as well. And sure, those videos tank. That's fine. It was never about the clicks and the views for me. It was always about getting my point across, what I want to present to the people. If there's a cop who's like, hey man, you have a First Amendment right, you're allowed to do this, and yeah man, I don't have no issues with you. That's what I want to show as well, because I want these other cops who have a certain, not you guys, but these other cops who have an ego or whatnot and want to violate rights or whatnot, to have an example of how to present. And I think by doing that as well along the way, I think that's actually helped a lot of cops. And the question that I ask every officer that I encounter, if they know the First Amendment, the 5 fundamental freedoms of the First Amendment, and none of them could ever answer it. And recently, probably about 9 months ago, there was an officer here in Bakersfield. I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, he's a speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition." And then he says, and I said, "Where did you learn it? From the academy or from my channel?" And he said, "Are you San Joaquin?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, kind of pointed at me, and I was like, "Yeah."
Man,
and I was walking away. I was walking away. I was like, "I told you guys." I was like, I'm over here teaching the cops, and they ain't paying me. But
yeah,
it's nice. In Sacramento, I had a couple different cops recognize me, and that's like a 5-hour drive from here. And Sacramento is the capital of California, right? And there was one officer that pulled up, and he's like, "Are you guys with San Joaquin?" And I was like, that's him. And he was like, hey. And so there was another cop who we were trying to get some complaint forms at a police department. Before I started doing records requests, one of the things I would ask for is a complaint form. We're not necessarily trying to file a complaint on someone, but one cop came in there with the attitude, and he was a supervisor. And he was just like, oh, I know what you're doing, and this and that. And I'm like, whatever, dude. He kind of did the walk of shame. But another officer that I was talking to, he came in and he was like, yeah, man, no, I watch your videos, and I'll go in there and I'll try to get a complaint form. And then he was like, yeah, there's a couple channels that I watch. I watch San Joaquin Valley Transparency, and I kind of waved my hand, and he was like, that's you. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, it's nice to meet you. And I'm like, thank you, bro. So, it's I think by showing the good as well will also make cops be like, I can respect this guy's work. I can appreciate what he's doing. I can respect the First Amendment. This guy is teaching it to me, or it's not making me hate it. And it's like, I think that's a powerful tool that we can use, is to highlight the good and the bad. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do from the get-go.
I agree. It may not look as sexy. I get it. It's not as fun. We want to see people screw up. That's what gets the clicks and the likes. We know it. But damn it, I'm a positive guy. I'm an optimistic guy. I like seeing when cops succeed. I like seeing when anybody succeeds. I love it. I think that's great stuff. We need to share that. We need to raise that up, elevate that type of behavior. Look at Matt, for instance. Look at all the protein that guy's on. Look how successful the muscles are. I just sit there in awe, buddy. I'm proud of you.
It's backwards for me, man. When I do post the good ones, they do the best on my page, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, you don't do it that often. That's probably why.
Yeah.
You don't do it that often. Like we've all got our own shtick. Like, and Matt's shtick was, hard-nosed, calling it out, seeing the bullshit, and that's what he did. And, when he does find the inspiring ones and he feels inspired to talk about it, I see why that comes up. Now, for me, I don't want to say I was the exact opposite, but I did show a lot more positive than I did negative. And because I started showing the negative, my algorithms changed and I started seeing more. I'm like, oh shit, this is more of a problem than I anticipated. Oh, my computer's doing weird things.
Yeah, I just started off just commenting on what people sent me, and this is what people were sending me. So
yeah, and now, that's the other thing, is like now I can't even keep up. Matt can't keep up.
I didn't know what I was doing that. I'm standing in my closet just with iMovie and no clue. I didn't know the etiquette, the tact. I had no clue. Just started putting stuff out.
Every once in a while, Matt and I will, or even Ben, will collaborate, and I'll edit for all these guys. And Matt's like, I need to learn how to do that because I had no clue. Yeah, you're doing all right, buddy. But
cool.
So okay, let's talk about just auditing in the first place. What's the right way? What's the wrong way? So for me, San Joaquin, I want to kind of pick your brain. This is how I traditionally handle any auditor situation. We're going to get a call, right? Banning calls in, ring, ring. Hey, this motherfucker over here is filming me and I work at the local bank. And you're like, oh, okay. I'm not getting that call. That's going to dispatch. So now across my computer just keeps me aware. So now across my computer screen, I'm going to get dispatched to the bank for a person filming the bank and that they're concerned. When I show up, now I'm hoping there's other cops out here listening. When I show up, I don't go to the auditor. I don't go look at him. I go to the person that made the call. I go talk to them. Hey, Mr. Levine, can you tell me what's going on? Yeah, that guy's out there. He's filming me. He's filming our bank, all of our customers. Da 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 da. Okay. Who's scraping? Do you guys hear that?
We did.
It stopped.
Yes, it stopped.
Whatever it was. So I will go to the banker and say, hey, tell me, what were they doing? Okay, he's over there, and when people drive by, he's filming them. Okay, was he doing it from the sidewalk? Yeah. Did he come onto the property? Well, no, he didn't come onto the property. Okay, cool. Was he threatening anybody? Did he show a weapon? Did anything like that happen? No. Okay. So he's just out there filming. Yeah. And you're worried he's invading people's privacy, I'm assuming. Yes. Okay, cool. Well, this is a First Amendment right. They have the right to film while they're out there. It's protected by the Supreme Court ruling. And I can pull that up for you if you want to see, but a lot of people don't know that. And it doesn't feel right when people start filming you. I get that. And you are worried that they're going to film that privacy, but people's privacy is on them. So if they want to protect their information in public, they got to protect it. It's not on the police. So there's nothing I can do to that guy. Is there any other thing I can help you with? No, that's it. All right, ma'am. Have a good day. I don't even talk to the auditor. Guys, I don't talk to the auditor. Banning.
Same. 100% same. And Eric and I think that's why Eric and I do a decent job at what we do here. We don't agree on everything, but that right there is exactly how I've handled it for several years. I started seeing auditors 2014, 2015 is when they started kind of coming on scene in the city that I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I kind of got upset because I ran into a lot of them. I'm talking several. And I would go to a call and I would talk to them. If the auditor came to talk to me, great. I'd talk to them. And then finally I was like, well, I want to be on this channel. You know, I'm like, I think I did right. And I'd finally reach out to them. I create a little YouTube channel where I had like one viewer, and it was probably my wife. And I'd send them a message. I'm like, hey, man, you interviewed me last Monday. And I saw you put up some other videos on Monday. Why didn't I see my fat mug on there? And they'd be like, well, man, you actually were amazing. And I'm like, can you show the people?
Yeah, I want to look amazing.
It's like, you know, and then they're like, no, dude, you actually stopped me on a traffic stop last year too. And you were really cool and wrote me a warning. I'm like, well, I'm not a big ticket writer, man. Hey, thanks for could you let your people know? No, dude, I'm trying to get people to commercially invest in me, man. And you're not the guy. And I'm like, oh, hey, what do I got to do? And they're like, what you got to do? I'm like, I ain't willing to do all that stuff because that's going to violate your rights, man. You know, period. And and I put that back to the training. I put that back to my parents. And it's kind of a common sense thing that I did for 21 years. Not saying I'm perfect. There's no cop out there that's perfect. If they say that they are, they're fucking full of shit.
Yeah. There's one other way that I've handled auditors in the past, and you get the call. Same thing. We'll go the same scenario. Cool. And I'll get near the scene. I'll be 4 or 5 blocks down the road. I'll see, oh, there they are. They're on the sidewalk. And I'll just watch. And I'll watch and I'll watch and I'll watch. 10 minutes go by. 15 minutes go by. No, he ain't doing anything. All right, let me call the person that called. Hey, this is Officer Levine. I almost went into my normal. I almost said my agency because that's what I would say. I would have said, it's Officer Levine. Can you kind of tell, you were the caller, can you kind of tell me what was going on? And then same thing. All right, well, we've been observing him from here, we're not seeing anything. Do you got anything else? No? Okay. And that's it. Boom. Call cleared. And I didn't even have to get out of my car, guys. Like I could just be staying in my nice, cool car because I'm in Texas. It's always hot. So that's 2 different. I just gave officers out there listening, just gave you 2 ways to handle it. Saying, is there anything that I said that you think is wrong or I should fix or that we could adjust from that?
Me personally, I think that's amazing. I've seen cops kind of do what you've done. Now we're starting to see dispatch say, well, ma'am, he has the First Amendment right to record in public, and they don't even dispatch the officer out. But I'll say this. I have seen cops do exactly what you just stated, where they just go talk to the people and educate them and then come back out and say, hey, man, I let them know you guys are welcome to do this, man. You guys have a great day. I love that, dude. I love seeing that. I love seeing cops come up with a great attitude and say, you guys have a First Amendment. You guys keep doing what you do. You're allowed to do it.
Yep.
Just don't step on the property.
You're going to get shit from other auditors just for saying that.
Yeah. I think for the most part, a lot of auditors and a lot of the people that support, they kind of agree, with that, they do want to see good cops. A lot of the people that support me and have been supporting me for a long time, they know what I show. They know I show the good. They know I show the bad. They know I fist bump and shake hands. I was told, by some of the channels before me, they were like, don't shake their hands, man. Fuck that. Don't shake their hands. And I'm just like, I'm different, bro. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fist bump and I'm going to shake hands when they treat me with respect. you know, and I've been like that from the very beginning, man. Like
Yeah.
like I said, when I first started, I was kind of an asshole, but I saw some videos of myself, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna change it up. That's not me, dude. That's not even really me. I don't want to really create a personality. I just want to be myself, you know, and
Yep.
so I like the good and the bad, and you're right, man. We do like seeing cops do their job correctly and come in, but I would like to see cops come up to the auditor more often and say, hey, hey, you guys are welcome to do that. And, you guys have a great day, whatever.
Okay, so
we do see that a lot.
That's good feedback to get, because for me, I would think that the auditors, they want me to do my job and know that I have no right to contact them. So that's, for me, I was like, I'm not even going to go over there, because I want them to know that I know where my place is at, and it's not with you, because you're doing your thing. Why should I intrude? But
That's reasonable. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. I want to get to East Los Audit's question, because we've answered this a bunch of times on here. Have any of you reported bad cops to your supervisor? One, I am a supervisor now, and I have busted cops. In my career, I've arrested 4 cops. It's not a brag. It's just, that's what has happened. I work for a major city. There's like 1.2 million people where I'm at now. So, this is just a perspective. I'm not making excuses. This is just my own personal perspective I want to give you guys. At my department alone, every single year that I've been here for the last almost 15 years, because I've been at another agency before this, but every year that I've been here, at least one, there's been multiple on several years, but at least one officer has been fired, charged, arrested. Every year. Cops are being held accountable. You're just not hearing about it. Why? Because it's not sexy. If it doesn't bleed, it don't lead. Nobody gives a shit about cops doing the right thing. They only care when they're not. So I see it all the time. Now, this is just me. It doesn't mean it's happening everywhere. And I fully admit that. I'm not trying to say, oh, cops are held accountable at every single place. I mean, look at your Cavillo guy. That guy needs to be held accountable. We don't know if he has been. And we don't know if he will be. He might not. Who knows?
I have arrested local, meaning municipal. Okay. I've arrested county, I've arrested state, and I've arrested federal. And that's not something you put on your resume.
Wow.
Now, is that something I'm proud of? Absolutely not, because that tarnishes the badge. But if it happens in front of me, your ass is going to jail. And I don't give a shit what's around your neck. I don't give a shit what's in your pocket. I took an oath, period. And this kind of shit drives my blood pressure up. And it's not huge numbers. But if it happens in front of me, your ass is going to jail, period. So,
Matt, what about you, buddy?
Absolutely. I've reported bad. I've raised my right hand against in the past. And I'll be glad to do it again. I felt no shame. I'll throw you under the bus and then run you over with it if you're a bad cop. Make my job harder.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one that stuck with me the most was I had a hit and run accident. I was working. I get there, 14-year-old girl in the back seat. They got T-boned. I'm assuming drunk driver right from the get-go, just because of what had happened, the time of night. 14-year-old girl got her femur broke in the back seat. So I get there, and I'm searching the abandoned car. And what do I find? A bunch of detective cards. Yeah. Detectives get their own business cards, right? And I'm like, oh, shit. So now the hunt's on. We assumed, because even when you got in the car, you could smell alcohol, and he wasn't in there. So that's how bad he was. Manhunt was on. We got the helicopter involved. We went towards this dude's house. He ended up getting picked up. He called a buddy and said, "Don't ask me any questions. Just come pick me up." And his buddy did. Which, I'm not gonna lie, if one of my friends said, "Don't ask me any questions, come pick me up," I'm like, "All right, bro, let me come get you. What's up? Are you good? You getting," especially military and cop world, I'm like making sure they're not suicidal. Yeah, I got you. Let me come get you. He went to prison, and his buddy got fired from the PD. So that's the one that stuck with me the most, simply because you left a little girl. I've got a 14-year-old. She's about to turn 14 in like a week or two. But like that shit. Right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't give a fuck. And if you're a cop, you should be held to a higher standard. I say that a lot on here. Mr. Billfold always busts me. He doesn't like that I say cops are held to a higher standard, but to me, they should be held to a higher standard. So I hold them to that higher standard.
Yep.
So, yeah, but all three of us on this panel have, it's not a bragging thing, guys. I'm not proud that if you did wrong, justice is what it is.
The last thing we want to see is somebody tarnish the badge, but if they do it in front of us, they're done.
Yeah.
And usually, if you have a good judge and a good DA, they're going to do the same. They're going to aim for the friggin' sky like they should, because those people, when they're on duty, are out there to protect the rights of the citizens and protect life and property in that order.
Yeah.
And if they're not out there doing that and they're out there acting a fool, pieces, you're gone. You see ya. Let's build a new jail, and here's where we're going to lay the concrete out, and this is where this SOB is going, and we're going to lay him in there, and he's going to be a great piece of rebar. If you're doing that kind of stuff, do not tarnish my badge. I'm sorry.
I've arrested military members. Here's another one for you. On moments that I can't arrest you, or let's say I did, both, whether I can or I can't. If you are making the uniform look bad as a military member, I'm still in the military. I figure out who your first sergeant is, or I don't know what you guys call it in your other branches, but your administrative sergeant. I figure out who it is, and I tell them all about what you did. And that is a worse punishment than you'll ever get from the justice system out in the civilian world. But
speaking of punishment, I just got the 2-minute warning.
Tennille's speaking. You guys don't know this, but this man is a kept man. We are over our 2-hour mark that we normally go, but we had a special guest tonight. I want to make sure he got everything he wanted out. So, San Joaquin, anything else you want to get out there, brother? We've been going for a while. I don't want to take up all your time either.
Maybe this, I don't know if this will help cops or future cops that are planning to go, through the academies or whatever, but there was and I know Rights Crispy had mentioned this on here. What's up, Rogue Nation? Good to see you as well. There's a federal correctional officer that loved our channel, and we interviewed him. He became a friend of ours. One of the things that I think he said that was profound was the fact that when he started, he told everybody, I'm one of those cops that'll turn you in. So whatever you're doing in front of me that's bad, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Don't do anything around me, because I'll arrest you or I'll turn you in. And he said that actually helped him throughout his career, because if they didn't want him around, they would move him usually to a higher position, and get him out of there. And he said that he feels like that protected him throughout his career, because he just didn't want to be around anything bad that anybody was doing. And maybe if you're an officer planning to become an officer, maybe you can tell that to, everybody in the locker room, or, the supervisor, say, hey, if there's something bad going on, I will turn them in. So make sure you don't do it in front of me. And I think, maybe that can help.
I agree. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, if you guys, I want people to know where they can find you, sir. So I have your channel. I believe this is you. Nope, that's not you. I know I got it here somewhere. There we go. I want to share your YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys go like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff at his channel there. I think this has been a great little podcast we did here tonight.
100%. 100%.
Your crowd, great crowd. Somebody brought in some crazy trolls from something D. I don't even know what that was, but
that guy used to be a cop watcher, and he kind of got he was arrested numerous times for his antics, and he just kind of starts going after all the auditors now and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew something was up, but you know what? I say you're starting to do something right when the trolls come out. So thank you very much, sir. Very humbling to have anybody. It takes a lot of guts to come on here knowing you're about to talk to 3 cops. And especially
here's the bottom line is we all wake up every day or night, depending on where you work, and we all put our pants on the same way. There's nobody better than anybody in our room, and we appreciate you taking the time to come bless us with your presence. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you,
much.
And it's been great to meet you, man. You're the OG to me, and I always hold you way up here, man. I was super excited when I heard Eric got you, brother.
Very
Thank
nice.
you guys, man. And I'd love to have you guys on as well on my channel on a live stream.
100%.
Hell yeah, brother. That'd be
We'll
fun.
do that as
Shit.
well.
All
And
of us at the same time.
And we can take it, man. If they want to deal it to us, it's no sweat off of us, man. We'll come and represent the best that we can, and we're here for the community, and that's what we're all here. If you look at what we're all doing here, it's for the freaking community. It's for our freaking amazing country. People may say, I hate America. Hey, whatever. We're here for everybody, period.
Yep. One of the things that we don't do, we don't ban people. We don't delete them simply because they don't like cops or whatever. And that's what makes us a little different. And I think what we've been able to do over time is those that absolutely hated cops and came to troll, they end up switching their mind. They're like, okay, let me give them a chance. And then the next thing you know, they're advocating for us, which has been great. And that's why I was calling out Mr. Billfold. He's like one of the original people that came up and was calling us on some bullshit that we were saying. And it wasn't that I was right and he was right or whatever. It was just, we had a difference of opinion, but we let him say it. We didn't try to prevent him just because we don't want an echo chamber. So, but no, very much appreciate it. Everybody out there in the audience, thank you very much. Make sure you guys go check out Matt Thornton's page. Make sure you guys go check Banning out on LinkedIn. Like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. Everybody else, guys, if you could stick around right as I end this, but everybody out there, thank you for joining us and take it easy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.